Welcome everybody to the first episode of Views from the Underground with your host, D.Cal the Titan. And my very first guest, artist Sunnie Moon.
What's going on, everybody?
So let's go ahead and get it kicked off. So Sunnie, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you're into.
Where do I start? I rock with a group, Vibrant Life. They're the team that I started off with. Of course, you know, some of the artists, VaunDoom, A.T.A. And basically, in a sense, man, I started with them as far as doing this mission, and it's been really good. I've been able to put a couple projects out, mostly probably small projects, nothing really big or known like that. But my single that did come out last year was Costa Nova, which really did hit numbers, and I appreciate everyone who did listen to it. And if you didn't, you can also check it out on YouTube. You just search my name, SUNNIE MOON, and those are two separate, Sunnie Moon. But yeah, I started with that, man, and like I said, it went really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So, but outside of that, I also started linking up with this other group called Lone Wolf Jupiter, which involves me, my man JJ, who's a producer, Melani, who's also a singer who I've written and produced for as well. My other boy Strap and Blake, who's also out in Missouri, and my other man John, who's out in Australia, who does actually kind of like a jazz, but kind of like a jazz hip hop type thing. So, but I rock with them. I rock with Vibrant Life, and so, you know, that's really where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's real interesting that you brought up them artists because I follow y'all, man.
Yeah.
I just want to know what created that team, that gathering of great minds, because that's something unique that you only see a couple times in our generation. You know, Jay and Kanye, a few examples like that. So what brought you all together?
As far as the Vibrant Life or Lone Wolf, or just everybody?
Lone Wolf.
Lone Wolf. Actually, it was my man Jay. Like I met him at school, and he had like this high top fade, right? Like my man, he's like a dude from Kid and Play, right? He kind of like the
Kid,
high top,
the house party days.
Yeah, right. And so he was rocking that, and I seen him. And so me and him just started kicking it one day. We were just talking about music, and I found out he was like a big Jay Dilla fan, right? So we got heavily into Jay, and we started getting heavily like Kanye, and we get heavily like the Ninth Wonder and stuff like that. And so he's like, "Yo, let's do some music." So I was like, "Cool, you know,
right.
let's work with it." And it just so happened during that time, I had just put out Costa Nova, and it was doing some good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hit me up. He's like, "Yo, I'm doing this song, and this kid got on it named Strap, right?" I'm like, Strap? I'm like, I never heard of him, right? So he's like, "Yo, you need to check it out because like it's really dope." And so I checked it out, and Strap, man, just went in on it. Like he blew me out the water. I'm not gonna lie, because when I first heard him, I thought he was like trying to be like Kendrick, because he has like an accent like Kendrick, right? But his style and the stuff that he was talking about, it was like so dope. And me and Jay was like, "Man, we need to see if we can go ahead and get this involvement with this dude, right?" And so Jay was like, "Yo, I'm gonna hit him up." So Jay hit him up, and so we started talking, and we talked for like 3 hours. And he's like, "Yo, man, I think y'all dope, whatever, this and that." And so we was like, "Hey, you know, let's keep in contact."
Right.
And during this time, also, I had worked on two tracks with Melani. One was called Cherry Rain, which did numbers as well. Did really good. And the other one was Persona, and it was me featuring me and her on the same track. No features, just me and her. And so we wrote them, and they were kind of getting more and more attention. And people started asking, you know, who did this stuff, who is she, whatever, and whatnot. And so as I was talking to her, I introduced her to Jay. Her and Jay kind of, you know, they were like, "Yo, this is a dope kind of click." And so in a nutshell, we was like, "Yo, we want to do a group." And so we was like, "Let's talk to Strap about it." And so we talked about it, and Strap then introduced me and Jay to his boy Blake, right, who's his manager. And he also introduced us to John, who was also in Australia.
Right.
And because they had been working together for so long, for a minute anyway. And so that's how we all came together. And the name Lone Wolf Jupiter actually came about from a video I shot, which you were featured in it. You know,
Right.
You can also find that on YouTube as well. But the song is actually called Lone Wolf Jupiter. And you know, we just thinking about names. And first we was just talking about like, let's do Paris Tokyo, kind of like a salute to Lupe Fiasco, you know, for that song Paris Tokyo. And I was like, I don't know, because I already came from a group called Paris Brown at that time.
Right.
And we was kind of like, you know, doing our own thing. So I just so happened to see the video as I was kind of like discussing it with him.
Right.
And I was like, yo, you know, let's do this. What y'all think about Lone Wolf? And so we played with the name for like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then we was like, all right, we're just going to keep it. So.
But it's kind of like that Dungeon Family story, like all these great minds just coming together.
Yeah.
And speaking of Dungeon Family, I listened to a lot of your old material, your new material, and I know I spend a lot of time like following your stuff. Mm-hmm. So I always hear like your own unique sound to it, but I hear a little bit of 3000 in it too. Yeah. Is that one of your personal inspirations?
Man, 3000. First, let me say this. I'm a big and really influenced by Andre 3000 and Big Boy, the whole Outkast crew and Dungeon Family. But 3 Stacks was like one of the primary ones that kind of caught my interest. Also, as far as music tip, I'm actually into this dude named Maki, which a lot of people don't give a lot of credit to. He's I believe he's from New York. I can't remember, but he did a lot of jazz type of music, right? And it was really dope how he did it. And so with 3000, Maki, and then of course you have Eminem, right? Lupe Fiasco, all these different minds, right? And even some jazz artists, you know, like Ella Fitzgerald, I was really big into, and Billie Holiday. With all these different things, I kind of molded the sound I was looking for, because during the time when we was actually forming it, like I said, I just got out of a group called Paris Brown, which, you know, we did really well. I'm not gonna lie, we did really well. Just by the way, shout out to Marcus, who also was actually on my new single now called Pot of Gold,
which is a hit.
Yeah, it'll be released soon. But you know, we was doing it. It was me, Marcus, this other dude named Reed Richards, another guy named Frucacy. You know, we was in our group. We broke up, and so I was trying to find a new sound. And so 3 Stacks, that his influence kind of still stayed with me, because that was with me even through the whole Paris Brown, even until now.
Yeah, man. And I heard you mention a few unknown cats, well, at least unknown to our YouTube viewers out there.
Yeah.
But like Strap, when I first heard Strap, man, it was like Nas and DMX and just one combination, like that rough but political and strong viewpoint type of artist.
Yeah.
It's like one of those amazing things that you rarely find. But speaking of underground artists, man, what's your top 5 underground? We not talking commercial. We know M, Jay-Z, Nas. You know, Big Daddy Kane is on a lot of people's lists. But top 5 underground.
Honestly, right now, I'm not gonna lie. My top 5 underground they kind of hit the mainstream market. Yo. So when you ask me that, I'm kind of like, damn. But Logic is definitely one.
Yeah.
Gotta give him props, man. Logic is definitely one of them. That dude's been grinding for a minute. Even though he's not underground, he's still. It's almost like his style never left that. It's gonna be Kendrick. I gotta put him no matter what.
Kendrick.
You know? I got it, cause like I said, he's not underground now, but he didn't switch up from that style. And so to me, I still consider him, I guess, a brother from the underground. You know, per se. Like I said, as far as man, you put
no Joey Badass.
Joey, man, I can't. You know what? Matter of fact, it's funny you said that, because I was watching an interview with Joey, and he was talking about how he creates music for himself, and it reminded me of kind of like when for example, he's saying when he makes music, he doesn't make it for other people per se, right? First, right? He makes for himself, then people reach out to it. They take what they need from it, right? And I thought that was really cool. And so when I listened to it, I kind of understood, because a lot of artists back in the day, they have that same mentality in a sense. You know, you got to make it for yourself. So yeah, Joey Badass. I apologize for not mentioning him, but Joey Badass, Logic, Kendrick, and like I said, the other two, they're not per se underground, but they still, in my eyes, still can dwell in that underground. Childish Gambino.
Yes.
Yes.
Gambino, man.
Gambino, and right now, dude, gotta put Cold, man. Cold World. I'm sorry, yo. It's you know that project, yo. That's.
Now I'm gonna give 2 of your team members a shout out, and that's A.T.A. and VaunDoom.
Yeah.
2 completely different styles, but man, VaunDoom just has that dark, aggressive sound.
Yeah, man. He does.
And A.T.A. remind me of like Joey Badass, not in terms of style, but in terms of mentality of it's art.
Yeah.
So he makes music to attract different crowds, and it's like he's a combination of different artists, man.
Yeah, he does. You know what? And it's funny you said that because, I mean, A.T.A came along. I mean, we know him. So, you know, he came a long way, all right? And I remember when I was working with him from when he first started to what he is now.
Right.
It's like, it's really cool to see that growth in a person, you know, coming to their own, do what they do, right? Go out and do shows, go out and do projects, whatever, right? Because for a long time he started, he did freestyles and he also did beats and stuff like that. But to see him actually start making his own stuff and coming to transition is dope. But VaunDoom, man, in my opinion, I really feel VaunDoom is one of those dudes who is misunderstood by a lot of people.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of criticism about his work, saying at times it sounds the same, but you know what? To be honest with you, VaunDoom was one of those guys who really stick to what he loves. You know, he loves that raw sound. And I know when I got a chance to talk to him, it's been a minute, but when I talked to him, you know, that's one thing that always came across. You know, he like, yo, I love it. You know, this is my sound, right? And personally, I don't, regardless if it sounds the same or not, it's still good ass music. You can't knock that, right? You just can't, you can't knock good sound, right? You can't. So I mean, VaunDoom is my dude, man. That's my guy. You know, real talk. Him and A.T.A, yo, they my guy.
All right, now let me ask you this: with Big Sean coming out of Detroit,
Yeah.
you got Dej Loaf
Yeah.
catching on real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see Detroit becoming like the new renaissance for rap, like starting that new age? I mean, you got yourself coming up,
Yeah.
and you got a lot of team members. So, I mean, how do you feel about it?
As far as Sean and Dej Loaf and even Detroit Chia, you know, 'cause you gotta put her name in there too.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You gotta put her name.
No disrespect.
No disrespect, dude. She hot, yo. She's hot. But as far as Detroit, honestly, I wouldn't say we're at that point where I really wouldn't. Only because Big Sean, when he came out, it was almost like, who is this kid? Right. I mean, he came out, I think, around 06, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So when he came out, it's like, yo, who is this guy? Right. People's like, you know, we never seen him before, right? And so when he came out, he already established something, right? After Eminem did, of course, after Royce 5'9" and D12 and all them, but he really started establishing something for, I guess, say, the new age of hip hop.
Right.
But you know, we got Dej Loaf and, you know, Detroit Chia, you know, they just arriving on the scene per se. And so to say the new renaissance, when I hear renaissance, I think of innovation, something different, right? And I say they don't put out nothing different, nothing like that, but I don't see it right now. You know, we still have, there's a lot of artists that are not getting recognition in Detroit that's been out longer than them. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Black Milk is one of them, right? He gets his props, but it's not to the extent of, you know, some of these new artists that come out, and he's been putting it down for a minute.
Right. And Silo Shells, I mean, another cat I know.
Yeah.
He's been doing his thing for a while and branching out too.
Yeah,
and I see the attention is more focused so on not just the city but the state at large, period. Because you have all these people, whether it's Detroit, the suburbs, like Southfield, Novi.
Yeah.
Like our graduating class alone, man, just seeing the popularity and just the attention being paid to these cats really gives a lot of people hope now.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I will say that these three artists, you know, they are opening a door for other artists in Detroit. You know, it's just, the thing is, you know, when you talk about the new wave that's coming in, I mean, you really got to look at, Chicago had a new wave, right? They did. You know, Lupe, after he came out, then you start having Chief Keef and all them, right? Detroit had a new wave coming in. I mean, Chicago had a new wave coming in. But as far as Detroit, it's not there yet. It's getting there, right? It definitely is getting, you can sense that something is changing, something is happening. Somebody's paying attention more so, you know, to Detroit. But as far as kind of like how Chicago and LA with Kendrick, YG, you know, Schoolboy Q and all them, you know, when they came out, you know, it's not quite there, you know. But I mean, who's to say, you know, who knows what the future holds.
Right. So you hear a lot of critics, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comment section, but you hear a lot of critics say that 2014 was the worst year for rap in a long time. And I see you out here doing your thing, and you slowly coming up, and you definitely getting attention now. So what's one of the things that you feel could have changed from last year, and how are you looking to change it?
I will say, as far as 2014, it's just putting out more good music per se. Like I said, I put out Costa Nova,
Right.
and I'm actually on the move now to put out the rest of the project because I wanted to see how Costa Nova would do, and Costa Nova did, better than I thought. But I want to put out the rest of the album, but just really put out more good music because honestly, I also want to put more substance into most of the music that's out. The thing that I really feel that 2014 was so bad simply was because when you kind of listen to the stuff, it's almost like, man, is it really that's all we got to talk about?
Man. So guys, now again, comment in the section if you think I'm wrong, but I said 2014 was so criticized, but it was criticized for good reason. Because if you took Will Smith's Getting Jiggy With It, one of the most hated on, criticized songs, which I personally liked, and I didn't have a problem with, but it was one of the most criticized songs. But if you look at the lyrical content that Will had at that time when it was hated and compared it to some of the lyrics now, I mean, it stands apart. He will be looked at like he was setting the bar, pretty much.
To really be fair, I really want to call it the worst though, because you got to remember 2014. I mean, look, you had Kendrick that was out, right?
J. Cole.
You had J. Cole that was out, right? You had Childish Gambino that was out, right? You had artists that was out. It just really, I guess what we're saying is, as far as the work that's being spotlighted, maybe wasn't the best work that should have been spotlighted. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about artists who, most people may feel like, they really didn't deserve that spotlight compared to other artists that's coming out, like Chance the Rapper, right?
Right.
Which, he had his shine, but it wasn't the same as some of these other artists, right? I think that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about the worst of 2014. Not so much the music, because it still had good music. 2014 wasn't like just a trash year, but the music that was spotlighted, I did feel, it was like, man, is that really where we at? Because music in itself tells where we at as people. It's one of the few things that puts a mirror, to ourselves, and you're forced to look at it, whether you like it or not. And so, when it comes to, whether being the worst year, I mean, maybe as far as spotlight, yeah, but as far as the worst year of music, no, I don't think it's the worst year of music per se. I think it's just, the certain music didn't get the shine it should have.
Okay. All right. So, one question, and I'm gonna ask every artist this,
all right,
because I know you up and coming. I know you got big things planned, and you got a lot of success coming your way. Speaking of success, when do you feel you've made it? Like, what's gonna be that key point?
I feel I made it.
And in your career, in your time as an artist, that you're gonna feel like, I'm here. It's a blessing. I'm here. I acknowledge that I've hit the plateau.
I guess when I get bored. No. You know what? Be honest with you, man. I know it's gonna sound weird, but I already feel like I've made it. To be real with you, it's not so much as the money success, because you can get that from anywhere, right? You don't have to be a hip hop artist to make, $100,000, a day, or $100,000 a month, or whatever, right? I mean, drug dealers showed us the best. You don't have to do that, but I guess per se, I feel like I made it. I mean, I feel like I made it now. It's really like these times that I think of the most, that shape my work. The people that I work with. That's really the funnest times. I mean, we talk behind the scenes about, certain things that, even yourself and personally you want to do, right? And it's, so for me, it's like I feel I made it now. I'm molding it. Right. One of my favorite quotes, or not to say quotes, one of the favorite things I read was by Rev Run, which he said, look, don't wait to have fun when you finish. Wait to, have fun during the moment, because those are the times that you're going to look back on, right? And so right now I feel like, this is a place that I feel comfortable, right? This is a place I feel I can branch out, right? This is right here I feel the most creative, because, at a certain point, I think every artist every successful artist will face, when you get to the point of, hey, can I still do what I like to do? Can I still say what I want to say without having someone behind my back telling me, yo, you gotta change that word, or you can't write that content. You know, I think when it gets to that point, then to me, I don't feel I made it. I think at that point I say, damn, I got myself in a cage. You know, what am I doing? But now, you know, even though it's like, you know, it may not seem like the most successful time of my life, to me, I feel I've made it right now. Like, I can live my life, I can make my music, I can have the people who I'm cool with, we can chill, we can just do what we want to do, we don't gotta worry about people getting on our backs and stuff, being stressed out like that, right? I mean, to me, that's beautiful. If I can keep that even after, or even if I do obtain that type of money success, right? If I can keep that, yo, to me, that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, that's why we basically get up in the morning, to not feel like we're in a cage, but to do what we love to do. So, hopefully, I hope that's why we get up in the morning.
All right, so Sunnie, I like to do something, and I have it planned out for my show as a last word. So I got one last question. I'm gonna let you get the last word on it.
Okay.
What would be your advice to young people looking to do what you do?
My advice would be, if you're going to do this, you have to be driven. Number one, you gotta want this. This is not something you can just get up and say, hey, I'm gonna do this, right?
True.
Because, you know, and it's kind of funny because I just got off the phone with Jay, and we was talking about how when we all put out our first album, our first record, right? Our expectations are everyone's gonna love it. Everybody's gonna love it. You hear it, it's gonna happen, right? But it don't.
Screw the critics.
Yeah, screw the finger to the critics, yo. But it don't, right? And so when it doesn't happen, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, are you gonna sit there and like, it's not for me, right? Or are you gonna
going back to that 9 to 5?
Yeah, exactly. Or are you gonna like, you know what? I have fun doing it, right? This is cool. So, you know, one, be determined, but the second point I'm alluding to is you got to make sure you love it. This is not a job. I don't care what anybody says that it's easy. You know, even after, especially after you've
Personal investment,
right? Even after you get that contract. I mean, one of the things that I really respect that Sean said, I think it was on the Breakfast Club, can't remember, but that he pointed out, he's like, yo, you know, if I didn't love this, right, I couldn't do it. You know, because you stay up so late. You know, even now, as a unknown artist per se, right, you stay up for like, you may get up at 8 o'clock, man, stay up till 3 in the morning, right? Or you have to deal with stuff that you really don't feel like dealing with. But, you know, when I make my music, I'm loving it, right? That's the space that I'm in. So you gotta love it, and you gotta be determined. And you also, number 3, you gotta have patience. If you don't have patience, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna come overnight. And if it does come overnight, yo, it may be short-lived. You know what I'm saying? So that's I guess the few words I will say. You know, be determined, love what you do, and be patient. You know, wait for the time to come, and it'll come.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening and viewing my first episode of Views from the Underground.
Indeed.
Again, this is your host, D-Cal the Titan, and then we also have...
Yo, Sunnie Moon, man. Thank you.
All right, and as mentioned before, all the links will be provided in the comment section. Definitely let us know how you feel, and definitely hit the subscribe button. Peace.